Hello and welcome to Fight Day Focus. We are the final word before the final fight of 2023. What a blockbuster card we have in store. And of course, it's headlined by the UK's own Leon Rocky Edwards, looking to make his second title defence against returning Colby Chaos Covington. To talk this through, I am delighted to have two good friends in studio. TV presenter Will Best, everyone. Big brother and everything. And of course, UFC lightweight Jai Herbert, who's done a few rounds with Leon over the years. Big applause, please. Woo! Yeah. But before we hear from the gentlemen, and there'll be some great analysis, let's hear from the two men in the main event, Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. They spoke with Megan Olin.
How really do you assess Leon as an opponent and the threats that he possesses?
I think he's one-dimensional. I think he's, all he can do is kickbox. I'm a well-rounded fighter. I can kickbox with him. I can wrestle with him. I can jiu-jitsu with him. I can do a lot of things that he can't do, and I know he can't keep my pace for 5 rounds. I've seen the quitter in him, so tomorrow night I'm going to bring out the dog in me, and I'm going to bring out the quitter in Leon.
Well, you want to get your hand raised tomorrow night. What round does it get it done, or do we see all 25?
It's not going 25 minutes. I can promise you that. He's going to come in emotional. He's going to have his adrenaline high, trying to knock me out. And he might get caught and clipped, but, I'm always ready for 25 minutes. Everybody knows that. So I'm going to give the fans a treat. I want to take him to deep waters, and then I want to make him quit. I want him to look at the ref and squeal and say, I don't want to fight no more.
How do you prepare for the pressure and the pace? We know if he has one weapon, it is to be able to continue to just search for the takedown. How do you prepare yourself for that in the gym during training camp?
I'm just having a solid training camp. Like I said, you can't just be scrappy and walk on the shots all day. If you fight like that with me, you walk on shots all day, and even going for his takedowns, he duck head first and everything. He's too scrappy, and I feel like I'm way too clean of a striker as a mixed martial artist. My techniques, my grappling, my inside fighting. So I feel like that'll be the difference between his last opponent, Masvidal, and my last opponent, Usman. So I think tomorrow night we get to show that.
Great to hear from the champ and, of course, the challenger. Coming to you first, Jai. Leon is your friend, your teammate, Uncle Rock, I think you call him. He's been in your corner before. You call him Uncle Rock. Yeah. Just give us a sense of how he's feeling coming into this fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, in camp he's been looking the best he's ever looked, to be honest.
Really?
He looks in great shape. Looks phenomenal. I mean, the other day I was doing some rounds myself, and I actually stopped my rounds to watch him training with a couple of other guys, and he was looking the best I've ever seen him, man. It looked incredible, you know what I mean? So I'm really excited to see him put on a great performance.
I've been lucky enough to come and see you guys work up in Birmingham, and I've always been impressed by everyone. But what's been the difference since Leon became champion, or maybe it was that first title defence against Usman, in terms of how he's training, how he's carrying himself?
The difference between the team, I think, is that we've had the belief that literally someone from our own area can go on to be like the best in the world, and we can do it as well. Hang with these guys. But I think in any difference to Leon, really, I don't think there's really been any difference to him. He's just been the same guy. He comes in, trains like us all. We're all the same. You know what I mean? It's not like because he's the champ. Everyone roll out the red carpet for him. None of that. We all take the piss out of each other. We all work hard. Everything's the same, man.
I think I saw him talking about the feeling of being a champ, though. And I'm sure he was talking about how having that confidence, it's almost like the validation. It's like he knew he was the best for years. And then finally, when he's got the belt, it's almost like you're going to be better because you are no longer trying to prove something. You're like, now I'm operating at the level that I'm supposed to be operating at.
He's still got a good energy. He's still one of the lads. You know what I mean?
Humble,
basically, one of the guys.
He's not suddenly rocking up in the gym with like camera crew, entourage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You guys are the ones right there in the octagon in the ring. But of course, there's a big team behind. Like, how important is someone like Dave to Leon's journey? And obviously, how important is he going to be tonight in the corner? He's
a very straightforward guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't sugarcoat things. He tells you how it is. Trust me. He's done it to me a few times. Told me how it is, and it's helpful. Sometimes you need to be told. It helps you improve. You know what I mean? And he's always looking out for the lads. He's always there for us, especially for Leon. He's been there from day one, and he's going to be very important, especially tonight as well. How proud of you were you in the way that he put together that fight strategically, and then the execution as well? Yeah, it was masterful, man, the way he put that together. I was there, I fought that night as well, but I went in the crowd and I watched, and it was what a performance it was. his footwork, especially landing the low kicks and the boxing, the takedown defence was incredible. And you know, that was really good. I was really impressed with how so it definitely wasn't a fluke.
And he's going to do the same to Covington. Like, Covington's of a certain age, certain vintage. He's got to do well in this fight. And if Leon does either of the things he did to Usman in either fight, like dramatic late knockout that just steals all the headlines and will make Covington doubt himself forever, or completely dismantles him over however many rounds, like, you're not coming back from it.
I definitely believe Leon's going to beat him, and I think he'll do it inside the distance. I feel like Colby just leaves he's going to leave too many gaps for someone like Leon. When I've trained obviously with Leon and sparred with him, and you've got to be on your P's and Q's with him, you know what I mean? You can't be overreaching or coming out of shape, because you will capitalise and, like, you know what I mean, it will hurt you.
Does he have any specific strategies? Because one of the things that I liked about when you look back at the footage from the head kick, that was a planned move, right? Like, there was footage came out of them looking at, like, yeah, literally, and like they're looking at an iPad, and it's like, he's gonna do this if you do that. Like, is that something that he's got? Has he got something up his sleeve?
Jai's like, yeah, he's looking.
The fight's only in a few hours. It's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for Covington to change.
I can't disclose that information, to be honest. But yeah,
that's a yes.
The counter that I would have, Team Colby. His pressure is relentless, and I'm not sure that Leon's faced anyone who can bring that kind of pressure. As a fighter yourself, like, how does Leon overcome that without giving away too many secrets?
But that's what I feel like. He's relentless, isn't he? He's just like, he's constantly in your face. It's not like he's setting things up, really. He's like,
it's one gear.
He's setting up the takedown, isn't he? That's what he's doing. So the strikes aren't like great technical strikes. He's just looking to overwhelm you, to get underneath you, get to the double, the single, push you against the cage. And I think if leaving yourself open, you're in trouble. It's going to be an early night.
One thing of note is, of course, the absence, time away from competition to Covington. He is, however, a veteran who's been in big fights. But will that make any difference to how this plays out tonight?
Like you say, he's very experienced in this situation. So I feel like, he's going to have that experience to go in there and, like, perform at this level. But I just feel like it's Leon's time now, you know. I mean, I feel like he's not going to be able to deal with him.
Yeah.
So I think that Colby he's going to have his moments in the fight. You know, he will have his moments. Do you know what I mean? But I just feel like come second, third round, Leon's going to get the timing in that, and he'll see the gap. Bang, he's gone.
Colby Covington is the biggest personality coming into tonight. Like, he is that guy. He's been poking and jabbing and saying all kinds of crazy stuff about Leon, the Brits, Ian Gary, like everyone. Like, everyone is on blast when it comes to Colby. And Donald Trump's going to be there, for example. Leon's entering enemy territory. How well set do you think he will be to deal with all of the other stuff on the periphery?
Leon's solid, man. Mentally he's solid. I don't think any of that's going to bother him, to be honest. He had to defend his title in the UK on his home soil against Usman, people were saying it's a fluke, you were losing that whole fight, it was only that head kick, and then he had to come back and, defend his title. I think that was more of a pressure cooker, that fight, than this. So I feel like this is a walk in the park to him. Colby better watch out, man. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay. Well, another Brit who is fighting tonight is, of course, Paddy Pimblett. I think I know who Will's going to be pulling for in this contest. But let's see what he had to say when he sat down with Megan.
Tell me about what you have to do to defeat Tony Ferguson. He used to hold the interim title. He had a very long run at 155 pounds where he did not taste defeat. What now are the threats?
Not much. He's just got his power. You know what I mean? As you know, when you age, the last thing to go is power, and that's all I've got to watch out for, that one big shot. Other than that, he's lost his athleticism, his speed. I'm better striking, better jiu-jitsu, better wrestling, and I'm going to dominate him come tomorrow night. If I don't finish him in the first, I'll be very disappointed in myself.
What about your own skill set and this time away are you hoping to display to yourself?
That's it. I didn't even get to show the advancements I'd had in my last camp, because I got injured in the first round of my last fight. So there's so many improvements that I've made that I'll get to show the world come tomorrow night, and I can't wait to show you.
That smile tells it all, Paddy. Good luck to you. Have fun out there, but I have no doubts that you will.
No doubts.
Guys.
One of the most notable accents in the whole of mixed martial arts. Good to hear it from Paddy. It's good to see Paddy back. Obviously, it's been a year away, but like, give us an idea, like fighter to fighter, like how Paddy is with you guys.
Paddy, you know what? I know Paddy gets a lot of stick in that, to be honest. But every time I've ever met Paddy or any interaction with him, you know, he's always been sound with me. Him and Molly, they've always been fine. So, you know what I mean? I can only take someone face value.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when I was in Cage Warriors as well, you know, I was actually the champion, and he was in the same division as me, and you know, he was always like, you know, bigging me up, to be honest, respectful. Yeah. So, yeah, man.
That's never been. He always seems. He comes across generally well, really, though, doesn't he? It's just the bravado thing and whether he can back it up in the octagon, but you know, it's always, can he live up to the hype? Can he take his game to the next level? And the fact that he still hasn't just means that he's still got to be kind of a weirdly unknown quantity for somebody who's so known.
Yeah, there aren't many guys that had the crowd going absolutely nuts. He pulls a crowd, doesn't he, Paddy? It's rare to step in to your young UFC career with that amount of eyeballs. Like, how do you think it would affect most fighters?
A lot of fighters, you know, they might be, you know, feel like they've got a lot of pressure on them, especially like a young fighter, you know. But I suppose he's risen to it. He had a big fan base before, like in Cage Warriors and stuff, you know, with all the like Liverpool fans. Because I think the Liverpool people, you know, they do get behind their own. So I think he had all that fan base before he came into the UFC, reading off the back of that.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just rolling with it. So fair play to him.
And Will mentioned that his last fight. Now, Jared Gordon fight was very tight. I've gone back and watched it. I mean, very, very competitive.
What would you give it?
I actually scored it for Paddy. When you sit down with the judging criteria, you can definitely see how they scored it for Paddy. What the fallout of this, and I think this is what's perturbed Paddy a little bit, and he's a victim of his own success here, is he injured himself like really badly in that first round. He calls it 3 surgeries in one on the back of that fight, essentially fighting on one leg after the first round. I know you guys go through it. Perhaps it sounds bigger to me than it would do to you, Jai, 'cause I'm sure you've gone in and like bust up your hands and still carried on. Yeah. But do you give respect to Paddy for persevering in that fight?
I mean, as you're a fighter, you know, you're going in there, and if you get yourself hurt, you just got to fight till you can't fight no more. So, you know what I mean? As a fighter, that's what you got to do, man.
Would it have been better for him though if he'd just pulled up?
Oh my goodness! I remember rolling my ankle in football. I was out for months.
Yeah, but do you think if he'd withdrawn, then that would have been better for his reputation?
Did he hurt himself in the fight?
It was in the fight. It was the first round. So if he'd withdrawn if he hadn't got off his chair, then
he was walking around when he was moving around.
Oh, he's calling bull.
Yeah.
He broke his ankle. He had the surgery, didn't he?
He tore all 3 ligaments.
We've all torn all 3 ligaments. Come on.
It's a bad
one. No, it's like obviously he couldn't move in it, so he was carrying on fighting, which is, you know, fair play to him. In the moment, in the heat of the moment, you just want to win the fight, don't you? The adrenaline, you're just gonna hobble out there and just try and swing it out.
Yeah. He has gone on a record and said this is a lose-lose fight for him, Jai, and I'll get your opinion on this as well, Will. We all love Tony Ferguson. He's not having the finest moment in his career, but we've also got to keep in mind not all losing streaks are equal. Like, he has fought the best of the best. But like, this is a really unique situation for Paddy. Does he gain much by being the victor here against Tony Ferguson?
Well, yeah, Tony Ferguson, isn't he? You know what I mean?
I'm glad
he's got to. Yeah,
because I'm not sure that Paddy feels the same way.
He's still incredibly well respected, and everybody knows that he's incredibly dangerous. He's still the most dangerous person Paddy will have been in a ring, in an octagon with. Yeah.
What do you make of some of Tony Ferguson's training partners and regimes on the lead up to this one, Jai?
You don't know me, son.
Who's going to carry the boats?
He's going to carry the logs, yeah.
Fancy a little hell week before a fight?
Not before a fight, no chance. You know, he knows how to fight, doesn't he, Tony, at the end of the day. He's been doing this for ages. And, you know, maybe he just needs to find himself. Maybe he just needed extra motivation. So he's just gone and done a hell week with David Goggins, you know.
I think it makes sense. Because, no, seriously, because like you say, he's so experienced. What is he going to learn that he didn't already know? But maybe they're still the only bits that can reasonably be improved in a fight, in a camp. Yeah. He's not going to suddenly learn a mad new style. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he can be even fitter, even more motivated, then maybe he's even more dangerous.
It comes across how he comes across on the telly or whatever, but we don't really know what's going on in his head.
He's shy. He's within himself. He's fully racked with self-doubt. I mean, you would be. He's just lost 6 fights in a row.
What do you reckon to this one? We're under the bright lights in Las Vegas with Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I think Tony's gonna win, man.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna pull it out of the bag this time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony's
and then he's gonna ride off into the sunset.
I think he's just got so much more experience, so much more ring craft. I think with that extra gas tank and some Goggins ringing in his ears, I think Paddy's Paddy's in trouble.
Is he in the corner, Goggins? You know.
He is in the corner.
Really?
Goggins, yeah. I've heard, from what I understand, Goggins is in the corner.
Nah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick. Yeah. I'm definitely tuning in for that, yo.
He's going to be stripped to the waist. Logs on his shoulders.
But we must move along to another piece of gold that is contested later on tonight. It is for the flyweight title as well. Jai, it's also a rematch. Interesting one with Pantoja and Royval, because Royval's the guy who snatches all the submissions. You know, that's what he's known for, but that's how Pantoja beat him in the first one. Like, psychologically, it being a rematch and a guy beating you at your own game a little bit, like, how do you think that's going to play into the next go around?
Well, you know, they've been in there once with each other, so I feel like, you know, they've got a feel for each other. Yeah. And also, you know, they know what the strengths and the weaknesses are. So Pantoja will probably look to get the takedown again and go for the neck again. You know, I think he won by a rear naked choke. I'm sure he did. So, you know, he's probably looking like the easiest path to victory. He's going for that.
It was close though, the first fight. Really, it was a lot of groundwork, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there were times when it felt like it kind of could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It was almost just Pantoja happened to got the breakthrough first.
The shine from Pantoja, because we were talking off camera and you were saying how you're starting to understand him a little bit more and you really like him. And
I think he comes across well, and he's one of those fighters who, I always like it when a fighter is a fan as well, like a real fan of the sport and of other fighters. And there's some good clips online of Pantoja talking about other fighters in his division, other divisions, rating them, and he's super complimentary about everyone, and he really gets into other people's styles and the way people operate, and I just think that's quite nice and refreshing. But I think what the division needs, I think it's still missing an individual to ignite it.
The Brazilians have always had such a stronghold over UFC belts, UFC gold, but we've entered a time period where we've had some retire, the belts have passed around a little bit, so Pantoja is like a really important champion right now, isn't it? Just for the Brazilians, just to hold another title.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, how many Brazilians have we got now?
Oh, no, and you were asking me the question, but
well, yeah, Gary.
Well, let's get some predictions before I let you gentlemen go. The main event, of course, your boy, your brother in arms, Leon Edwards, taking on Colby Covington. I mean, I think I know how this is going to go, but what say you, Jai Herbert?
I say Leon round 3.
Method?
Switching knee. How about that? Switching knee.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? Where have you got in the main
I
event?
think it might go the distance, but I think it will be totally convincing. I think Leon...
Masterful performance.
I think Leon will dismantle him over 5 rounds.
Okay. And staying with you then, co-main event for the flyweight title, who are you picking?
I think Royval could turn this one.
Right, the belt's going to the US.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Jai?
Pantoja.
Yeah?
Yeah, I reckon he'll get it done again, yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Give it up for our great guests, Will Best and the UFC Zone, Jai Herbert. All right, cannot wait for the fights in just a few short hours live from Las Vegas, the fight capital, UFC 296. Front to back, box to box, end to end, absolute money. You can catch it on TNT Sport box office and of course in the US, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for your support this year. Can't wait for 2024. But first, UFC 296. Thank you very much for watching.
The welterweight title on the line. Leon Edwards!
I am the best, and I'll prove it again.
Colby Covington. I'm coming to get that belt. Now they run it back for the flyweight championship. 2 times.